Hey guys, how's it going? T-Bird here, coming at you with a new video. And today's topic is going to be shotgun tips. Shotguns are such a huge part of this game, and very recently there's been a huge patch that has hurt shotguns, but they are still extremely necessary in the game of Fortnite. When I think of the two most dominant weapons, I really do think of like a Scar and a pump shotgun. Pumps are extremely effective close range, especially if you double pump. Now the new meta is heading towards double heavy, but it's a lot harder to find heavies. So to do double pump, it's huge when it comes down to close quarter combat. Most of the times, even with the new patch, shotguns, if you have a decent aim, you're gonna win against the SMG or whatever it may be. So the first main tip that I have, one is you're gonna want to double. You're gonna want to double to your shotguns. Um, Now, if you're really great, you don't have to, but where the meta is moved, it really requires two shotguns because, let's be honest, attack shotguns really aren't that strong. They're very inconsistent with their damage numbers, and you're gonna have to shoot the guy 4 or 5 times, maybe more, with attack shotgun, and that's just not gonna be worth it. And at that point, you're taking more time than if you were to double shotgun. Um, Now, to single pump, it's doable if you're a very experienced player and you are comfortable with shooting and then building a wall right afterwards. But even that, now with the new patch, one pump, you can't even one pump anymore. So you really want to double it up. So what I recommend for doubles is either a double pump if you're confident with your aim, a pump tack, or pump heavy, or a double heavy. So really any choice, obviously, other than a double tack. That's just counterproductive. So you really want to double it. It's gonna make it a lot. Your shotgun game is gonna go from good to great. So you're really gonna want to double shotgun. But most of you know that. Another tip I have for you guys is I found that I was missing a lot of my shotgun shots because my sensitivity was too high. So when you're watching this video, check out your sensitivity. If you're anything over like 7, maybe consider lowering it. I know a lot of people that do have a high sensitivity, they do it for the building, and it definitely is nice. That sweet spot for building is 8, but in my opinion, I moved mine down to 7, and my shotgun game has been so much better ever since. And really, at the end of the day, you can still be a great builder on 7. You just might be a little bit slower on your turns, but if you're a good builder, you're a good builder. So the aim is going to bring your game up a lot higher than just that 1 point of sensitivity for your building. So definitely recommend to adjust your sensitivity if it's a little high. Now, I definitely don't recommend to make a slow sensitivity, but somewhere between 6 to 7 is a really good spot for aim and building. Another big tip that I have for shotgun is I was looking at my games. I used to not be too good with the shotguns, and what I did was I looked at my footage of what I was doing wrong, and I found a lot of the time I was jumping way too much. Everyone has this idea that, okay, the more you jump, the better you're gonna be without getting, it's the easier it is to avoid enemy gunfire, and it's really not true. I definitely do recommend to jump from time to time, but over jumping, for one, it becomes so predictable that the opponent's like, okay, he's gonna jump now, let me just wait to shoot. So to over jump, it becomes predictable. 2, it's extremely hard to aim when you're jumping up and down. So the opponent has to do is kind of stand there for a second, have his aim down his sight, and hit you with a really hard damage shot. So over jumping isn't good. I'm not saying not to jump because jumping is a big part of avoiding gunfire, but at the same time you don't want to jump too much. I preferably like to shoot when I'm on the ground, whether I'm running towards them or I take a jump and then kind of take my time to aim it. Not really take my time, but in my mind slow it down a little bit. So you really don't want to jump too much. And then there's always that jumping too much. It's like you're doing something with your other, if you're on the console, you have to click with your thumb to jump up and down, or if you have a scuff controller, you're just doing all these other things that sometimes is unnecessary. You could be versing a not so great player and just jumping up and down isn't necessary. And you could lose your stamina, and it's just, there's so many things as to why you don't want to over jump. So try to avoid over jumping. Another tip I have is I was so set on, because when you aim down your sight, you slow down. I think most of us understand that. And I had this idea that if you aim down your sight, you're kind of a noob. It's quicker to not. If you're a great aim, you don't need to aim. But if you look at the really great players, especially like a console player like Nick Merckx, what he's doing is a lot of the time, he'll jump. Sometimes he'll hit fire with a shotgun. But when he has the chance, when he has that opportunity, he likes to aim down a shotgun. And the best time to do this is like if you're sneaking up on an opponent and they don't hear you, instead of just hip firing a shotgun shot, you might as well aim and try to get a headshot. Try to get the most damage you can. If some guy just looks like he's not that experienced, and maybe you're on a build and you can peek a little bit, aim down the sight a little bit, crouch up, hit him with it. Aiming down the sight with a shotgun isn't bad. To do it, to only be able to shoot aiming down your sight is gonna mess you up, because you're standing still in a sense, and you're very limited mobile wise. So you definitely don't want to just only aim down the sight, but you're crazy if you don't want to add that to your game, because it's such a better shot to take, and the damages are so much more consistent when you aim down the sight. Another tip I have for you guys is to aim for the head. It's something that seems so obvious, and kind of we may think that we are aiming for the head a lot, but I found for myself personally, and a lot of my friends do the same thing, when you're in a fight, you kind of just want to get any hit you can get, because you're so worried about dying at any second, and you're jumping up and down, you're both jumping up and down, you're both missing shots, you're maybe tagging each other here and there, that they end up going way longer than if you really just took your time and planned your shot out. To get that one, with the new patch, you need more than one good headshot if they have full shield and full health. But just to get that one really good hit, it changes the game dramatically, because just picture, if you get blasted with a shotgun for 170, whatever the new max damage is for the pumps, you're going to be playing a lot more scared, and now you're probably going to miss more shots. So it's more of like a mental thing, if anything. And most players don't have 200 health. Some do, but sometimes they only have 150, or they have even less. So if you can take your time, like I said, take a chance to just aim down your shot a little bit, or just really stop shooting, stop spraying, and be like, all right, I'm gonna wait. I'm not gonna shoot this shot until I know it's gonna hit. Try to aim for the head, man. It could be game over, right? Just like that. So it's something that I never really thought about. I thought I was always going for headshots, but I really wasn't. So if you really just tell yourself, like, okay, I'm aiming for that head. I'm aiming for that head area. You're going to be so much better, because you're going to be hitting more and more headshots. And eventually, just like everything else in this game, it becomes muscle memory, to where now you're just hitting more and more headshots the more and more you play. And it's going to make you so much of a better player, because you're going to be killing people as quick as possible, and that's really important in Fortnite, because the longer you take, the longer you guys are shooting shotguns back and forth at each other, the longer people have to get to you. They'll be able to run up on you the second that fight's over, if not even during the middle of it, and it might be game over for you. So you want to aim for the head, because it's just going to make your life a lot easier. So remember, don't over jump. Don't neglect your aiming down the sight ability, because it's going to help you. And definitely try to get into the habit of double shotgunning. I know it's hard sometimes. You don't want to use up an extra spot, but for me, it's a must. It's a must for me every game, and that's how I've mastered the shotgun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, and that's all for me this time. I'm out.